Hello everybody, James with Love My Pups, my breeder supply. Been a little while since I did one of these Q&As, apologise for that. Okay, how do you make platinums from a blue? So somebody's got a blue dog, little d, and they want to make a platinum, which is little d, little b, little b, little e. So it is a cream dog, little e. Remember, cream covers everything up, so it looks cream regardless of everything else. It's a blue dog, the dilution gene. And there's two versions of this. You know, we've got to be careful these days because we've got two versions of, we've got what was originally untestable chocolate we can now test for. Gets confusing. But anyway, most dogs are CO. We used to write it as little b, but that nowadays should mean the testable version. Okay, so how do you get that from this dog? Well, the answer is you don't. You just can't do that. What you can do is you can breed this dog with a platinum. So this is the platinum right here. This is the platinum. And this is just a blue dog. So that's just the blue dog there. And I'm just going to get the cocoa out of here because it just gets it a bit confusing. So we're just going to erase that. Oops, I lost my pen. Oh, well, there we go. I'm going to erase that. Okay, so if we make those two dogs together, what do we get? Well, we get all blue dogs. Remember, this one here doesn't carry it, and it doesn't carry cream, according to what we were told, right? So what do we get? We get a B and a little b, so it is a chocolate carrier, and it is a little e, big E with a little e, so it is a cream carrier. So that is the puppies that we produce. All right, and then if we then breed those puppies back to a platinum, so remember, the first thing we did is we bred this to this, and those two together produced that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to breed one of those puppies with this different platinum, because we're not going to use the same parent, because that would be line breeding. We're going to breed these two together. And what do we get? So now we get all blues. Half of them are going to be big E, little e, and half of them are going to be EE, and half of them are going to be big B, little b. I'll do it the same up here. Half of them are going to be big B, little b, and half of them are going to be little b, little b. So you've got a half and a half. And a half, and a half. So what do you get? The answer is you've got to just line this all up exactly right. So half of the dogs, the answer to this is, I mean, I'm not going to explain the actual math because I think it's going to take up more time than we need here. But essentially what you're going to get here is you're going to get a litter of 1/2 blues that carry the products that don't show platinum. You're going to get a quarter of the dogs are going to be lilacs, and you're going to get the carry cream, and a quarter of the dogs are going to be platinums. So that's what you can get out of it. So you can get there, but you see it's going to take a couple of generations. All right, long time to explain that. Took a while on that one. All right, next question. A lilac merle covered in cream and carries cocoa, what should I breed to? Okay, so we have got a lilac merle, so that is a little d, little b. She says it carries cocoa, so if she means this the way I'm inferring it, it means this dog is also CO. It's got two versions of chocolate, remember? So lilac merle. Okay, so it's got to be, so it's, yep, and it's a merle, so it's little M, big M. All right, there is the dog. Ooh. Covered in cream. It's a platinum. Little e. Okay. What do you breed that to? Well, it's a great foundation to produce all kinds of stuff. The first thing is you absolutely do not breed it to a merle. You never put merles to merles because you're going to have all kinds of problems with deafness and possibly blindness. So that we know that for a fact. And by the way, we're going to look at the results down here. That's going to give us the results of half of these dogs are going to be merles and half of them are not. So we already know that that's what's in the future for us. We're not going to breed to a merle, and we know we're going to get a litter of half merles on average and half not merles. So that's a given. Well, I mean, if it was me, I mean, I'd be breeding back to another platinum and producing platinum merles, or to a lilac and carries cream and produce half lilacs and half platinum merles. So the problem with the platinums is that they just look like cream dogs, and it depends on who's buying them. Because, you know, if it's a cream dog, even if it's a merle, you're not going to see it. So if you went with another platinum merle, another platinum, then all the dogs are going to be DD, BB, EE, and half are going to be creams, and the other half are going to be merle creams, and you won't be able to tell the difference between them without testing. And furthermore, if you went with a dog that had a copy of Cocoa as well, then you could get some that are this Isabella new shade. They've got both copies of chocolate. If you went with a dog that didn't have, well, it wasn't a platinum, it was just a lilac, then you would get all lilacs that would all carry cream. All the puppies would be DDs. We'll put that in line with this thing here. They'd all be DDs, they'd all be BBs, they'd all carry cream. So then you'd get lilacs and you wouldn't get any platinums out of it. So it kind of depends on what you're trying to do. Here's the answer. This dog up here, you can get whatever you want out of it. I mean, if you want to get, let me get rid of that for right now. If you just want to get blue dogs, then put it with a DD dog that doesn't carry these. You get blue dogs. If you want to get chocolate dogs, then put it with a non-blue dog that carries chocolate, and you get all chocolate dogs. If you want to put it with a cream dog that doesn't carry the chocolate or the blue, then you get all cream dogs. You can do whatever you want with that dog. This is the great thing. This is the great thing about a dog that has a lot of different genetics in it. You can breed whatever color you want from it. So I got one comment last time that says, "Oh, you're always going on about you just love chocolates and blues." Nah, that's not true at all. I like all Frenchies. You know, I'm not stuck on a color. I mean, you know, the reason for breeding colors is typically because the price of the value of the puppies is more. And I mean, you know, if that makes us money grabbers, so be it. I mean, you know, I do this because I enjoy doing it, but there's also a financial gain to it. So, you know, think about your colors and just breed what you want, breed what your customers want, and breed good, nice looking dogs, and you'll do just fine. Someone's asking about the new shade of Isabella. Okay, so this is, there's two versions of chocolate, and this continues to confuse people, but we used to just put down BB, and we could either say, look, it's a testable version of it, and it'll come back from a test from animal genetics, a DNA test as BB, or it's got a red eye glow, and it'll come back as Big B, and we call that untestable chocolate. All right, so now there's really two different forms of that. The other one is CO, little co, little co. And I'm going to put it over here. Little co. Okay. So this is, you know, I'm going to call this, was it untestable chocolate before? Untestable, but it's now testable, so it's not a good way of describing it. And this is just chocolate. All right, that dog is both a chocolate dog and an untestable chocolate dog. It's the new shade of chocolate. It's kind of a light milk color. And so it's difficult to get this because you've got to have two versions of this you've got to worry with at the same time. And if you put a DD in front of that, then that's a lilac new shade Isabella. So I hope that explains it. I'm going to do a whole video just on this chocolate business because it's still confusing people. Okay. Well, this kind of goes in with the other one, but someone who's got an AT, they've got a DD blue, a BB not chocolate, AT 10-point dogs. How do you make lilacs? Well, again, you've got this problem again. You don't have the ingredients for lilacs right here, and you're not going to get it out of this dog. So the best you can do is breed back to a true lilac dog, and I would do an AT-AT. And then all the dogs you get are blues that carry a copy of chocolate that are tan-pointed. And you breed one of those back to a lilac, and then half the dogs end up being blues that carry chocolate, and the other half are lilacs. How how do you get morals with tan points? Well, there are two independent questions there. So the first one is, how do you get a moral? So the answer to that one is, if you want to get a moral, you never put a moral with a moral. You breed those two together. And if you do that, back to the good old Punnett square, what do you get? M, capital M, little m, big M. What do you get? You get that, a moral, and you get that, a moral, and you get that and that. So you get half morals and half not morals when you do that. So actually I've really drawn that the wrong way because it should be little m, little m. I've got to be careful of my notation here because someone's going to complain. So basically a non-moral dog is that, and a moral dog is that. So this really is not being drawn the right way. So let's just get this right for the sake of clarity. It's the same results, but we've basically got the non-moral dog on top and the moral dog here. That's one copy, small m. So what do you get? You get that, which is a moral. You get that, which is a moral. You get little m, not moral, little m, not moral. Half not morals, half morals. So that's the moral side of it. So the answer is, the tan points are completely different than the moral. They're independent of each other. If you want to get a tan-pointed dog, then you need to, number one, not have brindle in it because it mucks up the tan points. And I keep on harping about don't have brindle in dogs, and people are complaining to me all the time about, I don't like brindle dogs. Brindle dogs are fine, it's just they can't make tan points. If you want to make a tan-point dog, you can't have a copy of brindle in here. It's a dominant gene, like moral, and all it takes is one copy of brindle in there to muck up tan points. Can't have brindle in there. So there's two ways you can get tan points. AT is one way, and this ATAA is the other way. They both produce tan-pointed dogs. Both of those are going to look like tan points. So the secret to this is you've got to get an ATA or an ATAT on the A gene. You've got to have no brindle. You've got to have one copy of moral. And if you do that, you get yourself a moral with tan points. Okay. How can you tell the difference between a platinum and a cream? Yup. So the answer is a cream dog or a platinum dog is always little e, little e. This is like white paint. It absolutely covers up everything else in a dog. It could be a moral, it could be a brindle, you could have tan points, it could be blue, it could be chocolate. You will not know it because little e is like white paint, covers it all up. So one way that you'd know that you've got a platinum on your hands is because both parents were platinums or both parents were lilacs that carried cream when you produced a cream-looking dog. That's one way to know, because remember, a platinum dog has got to be little d, little d, little b, little b, little e, little e. So if you've got a cream dog, you've got to know that either that both parents are blues and chocolates or have the possibility of throwing blues and chocolates. And the answer is, if you don't have that, if you don't have a lilac dog being on both sides being responsible for this cream, you're going to have to do a DNA test. So you go to animal genetics, you do a DNA test, and 10 days later, you know the answer. Here's the last one. This person did a progesterone test at day 7. And the number it came back with was 2.7. We're just going to call that a 3 because it's close enough. So the question is, when should I do my next test? Great question. So here's our progesterone level on the side here from 0 to 15. So there's a 10 and there's a 5. And here is day 7. And here is day 14. All right. So we were at a 3 at day 7. This is where the dog is so far, so we're just going to draw a line like that. And the question is, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to find out when this dog is at a 15, because that's what we want to do the AI. So how many days is it going to be when it's a 15? Well, a normal dog would typically be a progesterone level, get a different pen here, would typically be a progesterone level of about a 5. Excuse me, no. At day 9, which is ovulation, we'll put this in here. day 9. Typically a dog at day 9 would be at a 5. And then it would rise very rapidly to this kind of level pretty quick. So that's, we're trying to really find that point right there, ovulation, at a level of 5. That's what we're trying to find. And typically it goes up about 1 point a day. And here you go, it's a 3 on day 7. So it's a 4 on day 8. And it's a 5 on day 9. This is acting just like a completely normal dog. This one's easy to predict. So this dog is going to ovulate on day 9 and going to be ready to breed a couple of days later, so day 11 through 13. That dog will be ready to be bred. So what do you do here? Well, my recommendation is just to kind of find out what's going on, run a test in 2 days. And if that level's at a 5 or higher, you know exactly where you are and you can go ahead and the next day or two breed that dog and be safe on it. So that really was a normal dog. Here's my general recommendation on progesterone tests. In terms of, I think I've done a whole video on this, but basically do your first test about day 6 or 7. Don't get caught with your pants down. It's very, very rare that you need to breed a dog on day 6 or 7. So get a test at day 6 or 7, and we're going to say that comes back with a number that's something around, you know, a 1 through a 5 through a 3 is typical kind of number that'll come back with. So once you get to a level of 1, you can expect that dog to jump up about 1 point a day. So if it comes back with a 1, you'd expect it to be about 4 days till it's at a 5. And if it was a 3, you'd expect it to be about 2 days till it's at a 5. So you can see this dog here, if it comes back with a 1, test again in 4 days. If it comes back with a 3, test again in 2 days. If it comes back with a 5, then start AIing the dog in a couple of days. All right, I think that's it. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope I wasn't too confusing on that one. It was a bit rambly. If you like what we're doing, subscribe to us, please. We'd really appreciate that. And remember that we do have products that will absolutely help you with breeding your dogs, whelping your dogs, weaning your puppies. There's all kinds of stuff now on mybreedersupply.com. We have really a lot of really great stuff. Some of the stuff that we've patented and invented ourselves, and other things that just we think that you should have. Thank you for watching, and remember, be nice to your doggies. Bye, everybody.